The Lord was blessing us to make your history great.
Your entry is
All right?
not valid.
Read the 13th verse.
Verse 13.
Read that.
Let us now put the case, therefore, that we made use of this argument concerning the Grecians, in order to prove that their nation was not ancient, because nothing is said of them in our records.
So there's nothing great about the Grecians' history. Let's make that clear. That's what Josephus was saying. So don't even try to philosophize because the Grecians and the Romans got all their history from ancient Babylon and Egypt. So he set down the Grecians philosophers first. Like, listen, y'all can go over there and sit in the corner somewhere, because y'all didn't bring nothing to civilization. Y'all stole everything. The Grecians and Romans stole all, even worships they stole. They didn't even originate in worships. So he told the Grecians, listen, y'all can get over there somewhere. Because if it wasn't for the history and the science of Egypt, there would be no Greece. Go down to the paragraph 14, in the middle of 14, which says, now this false relations of Egyptian affairs. Read it nice and loud so they can hear it.
Now this Manetho, in the second book of his Egyptian history, writes concerning us in the following manner.
Manethos is spelled M-A-N-E-T-H-O. He's the African or the Egyptian historian that the Egyptians used as their key reference. He's the guy that lied on Egypt to say that Egypt was greater than any other kingdom.
Your entry
And he's
is
the
not
guy
valid.
that started promoting the fact, or what they called the fact, that the Israelites were never in Egypt. He was paid as a historian to strike us in philosophers' circles and all the great historians' circles. Read.
Now this Manetho, in the second book of his Egyptian history, writes concerning us in the following manner. I would set down his very words, as if I were to bring the very man himself into a court for a witness.
He said, listen, I'm going to open up the book of Manethos as if we are in court right now, to prove to you that this man is straight lying. Go ahead.
There was a king of ours, whose name was Timaeus.
What page you on? Okay, I got you.
There was a king of ours, whose name was Timaeus. Under him it came to pass, I know not how, that the Most High was averse to us. And there came after a surprising manner men of ignoble birth out of eastern parts, and had boldness enough to make an expedition into our country, and with ease subdued it by force, yet without our hazarding a battle with them. So when they had gotten those governed us under their power, afterwards burnt down our cities and demolished the temples of the gods.
See that? Read that last part again.
There was a king of ours whose name was Timaeus. Under him it came to pass, I know not how, that the Most High was averse to us. And there came after a surprising manner men of ignoble birth out of eastern parts, and had boldness enough to make an expedition into our country, and with ease subdued it by force, yet without our hazarding a battle with them. So when they had gotten those that governed us under their power, they afterwards burnt down our cities and demolished the temples of the gods.
So now, here's what was written in Manetho's book. That some guys came through and burnt down their temples and started making mockery and destroying their gods. When he knew that was a lie. When we came into Egypt, we didn't burn their gods. We voluntarily took down their gods because Israel only worshiped one God. So now they're trying to demean us. Manethos is trying to demean us in his studies by saying that some people just came and started killing everybody and taking down their gods. When before this history that Manethos wrote, that was nowhere in Egyptian history written anywhere, or in world history. Read. Go down here to the, what verse is that?
82.
This whole nation. Read that.
This whole nation was styled Hyksos.
What chapter, so that they can follow you? What book you in?
Flavius Josephus against Apion.
What book you in?
Book 1.
Book 1. What part?
Verse 13. Paragraph 13, verse 82.
13, paragraph 82. Read it.
This whole nation was styled Hyksos. That is shepherd kings.
This whole nation was what?
Styled Hyksos. That is shepherd kings.
That's chapter 14. It says, this whole nation is styled what?
This whole nation was styled Hyksos. That is shepherd kings.
That is shepherd kings. Hope y'all can see that. HYK C-O-S. So what Manethos did to hide the fact that the Israelites were in Egypt was lied and said some Asiatic people came by the name of Hyksos and took down our gods, and no one knows who they are today. But yet, even though they teach that in Egyptology, they teach there's no such thing as Israelites. Could it be that these are the Israelites that they're trying to strike from their records? That they're calling Hyksos or shepherd kings? Read that part again.
This whole nation was styled Hyksos, that is, shepherd king.
That is shepherd kings. What people were dealing with the sheep and the goats? The children of Israel. They were shepherds when we were in the land of Canaan. We went into Goshen. We were given great parts of Egypt. We didn't come in and fight against them. Joseph gave us that land from the king. That was his reward. His reward to our people was that they can live in Goshen. We were shepherds. And Joseph set us up as kings. That's what Hyksos means. Shepherd kings. You got it?
Yeah. It said the Semitic people who invaded Egypt and ruled.
See that? The history of the Hyksos is what?
It says
A Shemitic people
who invaded Egypt and ruled it.
who invaded Egypt and did what?
And ruled it.
And ruled it.
It said they introduced
See, but they had to make
themselves.
us, they had to make us infamous. They had to write us in their history as like we did something wrong. When really, if it wasn't for Joseph living in Egypt, Egypt would have died from the 7-year famine. So instead of them telling the truth, because you can't hide over 400 years of existence of a people in a country, they had to lie and say that we came as some, what you would call unwelcome conquerors, and took down their land and destroyed their gods. And by them writing this, the Egyptian children grew to hate us after we left, because that's the history they was taught in their schools and in their institutions of learning. So they learned the lies that was handed down through who? Through Manethos, the African historian. And that's the same historian the Egyptians and the Egyptology teachings are following today. Okay. Finish reading where you are there.
Hick, according to the sacred dialect, denotes a king, as is Sos a shepherd, but this according to the ordinary dialect, and of these is compounded. But the same. But
I need you to go down to 84. Read 84.
But Manetho goes on.
But Manetho goes on and say what?
These people, whom we have before named kings and called shepherds, also and their descendants, as he says, kept possession of Egypt 511 years.
See that? So Manethos skewed the numbers. Now, how can a people be over in Egypt over 300-400 years and no one know who they are? And this is for you Egyptologists out there. Look up Hyksos, and you tell us whether or not these people existed in Egypt. You don't call them Israel because Manethos lied to you and told you that they was Hyksos. But can you deny that the Hyksos was there under Egyptian history? No. And you're going to find that those Hyksos people were us, the shepherd kings. And we ruled, and during the time of the Hyksos, the greatest history was written in Egypt during the period we ruled Egypt. All right? Now, that's just the truth. Why? Let's get Isaiah. Let's get Jeremiah 10. This is, see, you have to realize in the scriptures, the Most High says through Abraham, all nations shall be blessed. So how does that happen? The children of Israel go from nation to nation, and where they inhabit,